Hello everybody and welcome back to Minecraft in our survival single-player world. We are picking up right where we left off last time. So, at this point, oops, wrong button there, we have a Happy Ghast hydrating. I've already made a harness for him. I've gathered some snowballs from our new little snowball farm here, just kind of tucked away in the basement. It's one of those things we're not going to need often, but occasionally you want to build with snow blocks, or you want to make more snow golems, grow a Happy Ghast. There's a couple reasons for it, but down here in the tunnels, I've just kind of tucked a couple of these guys in here. I put more than one in just so that they're cramming, because I couldn't get one to drop through the center. I don't know if maybe they've changed the hitboxes or something, but anyways, we've got a couple of these guys crammed in here so I can just bring down stone shovels and just collect a ton of snow when I need it. For now, though, we just need a little bit so that once our Happy Ghast has grown up, we can grow him all the way, slap a harness on him, and then we're going to use him and a boat to start airdropping villagers from our breeder over here into their new homes over here. It'll also be convenient to use for that exact same purpose functionally when I want to move the villager breeder, get 2 villagers out of there, get rid of the rest of them, and be able to transfer the villager breeder to somewhere a little less local, given that it's going to be a lot easier to transport them now. In the meantime, I'm going to mill about, see what materials I've got for our cliff-based terraforming, because we're going to need to make sure we have a ton of andesite, a ton of smooth stone, a good amount of tuff, though the initial cliff up there is already tough, so we're actually going to end up taking tuff off of that one more than adding it, and then of course a little bit of deep slate for these darker pocket spots. So I'll poke through, see what we've got, and then we'll go from there. I never did the stone on the majority of this, did I? Yeah, because through here you've got some smooth stone, some andesite kind of mixed together. Over here, I don't have any of the smooth stone, only the andesite. Well, I've still got to fix that, guys. This is just me being burdened by my own laziness. Anyways, I'll bring you guys back in once our Happy Ghast has grown and is ready to start transporting some villagers. So, I'll see you in just a minute. Ah, hello, buddy. I've been waiting for you. Oh, they're so cute. Okay. Come on, grow up, friend. Let's get you grown. Oh my goodness. The fresh animation guys did such a good job with these. Come on. There you go. Oh, look at you, friend. Oh, what a delightful guy. Oh my goodness. Hold on, let's get up a little bit. Oh yeah. Look at this friend. Alright. I'm very excited about this. So we're going to use him to move our villagers into the new housing. Between clips, while I was waiting for this guy to finish growing, I came over to each of these new houses, and I did the floors. I just did each one with dark oak. So you've got the slabs for them to step up on at the front, which I did on all the other ones. Rather than doing them to match the stone or wood type, I just kind of made them all dark oak and moved on. But they all have floors now. I still gotta finish carving out the stone over here and replace it with grass. That's another thing to look at in a minute. But we're about ready to start moving villagers in, so I'm gonna tie this guy off for just a minute. I'm gonna craft up some boats and get ready to parade some villagers over. So you guys will probably get that in the form of a nice little montage of villager transport. So I'll see you on the other side of that. Alright, with that, we have all of the villagers in, all of the housing in, all of the roofs done. So at this point, our next step... Oh, I missed a single stone while I was doing that. Let's fix that real quick while we're talking. Anyways, now that all of the houses are in, all of the roofs are on, and all of the... what was the other thing? Can't talk and chew bubblegum. Okay, now that all of the housing is in, all of the villagers are in place, all the roofs are on, we've got to knock out the pathing through here, which is basically going to turn this into a little courtyard. Follow along here, and then between these out to here, it'll cut from here up to the stairs. And between these, I added the lanterns on all of these to kind of provide the light for the area. So we need to continue our pathing all the way through as one of our next steps, which means cleaning up all of my project shulkers here and going to find all of my path materials. I need to get so many silence me name tags. That's actually probably what I'm going to do next, because it's really loud walking through here right now. But once I get all of the pathing marked out, I'm going to start taking some of these little areas like here between and start sort of decorating those with, you know, bushes and maybe like park benches, things like that, little back gardens. Make it feel more like a lived-in village and less like just a series of houses that have been dropped in place. Especially like in here, have a nice little garden space, or back here, you know? A lot of stuff that I want to get done decorations-wise. How many of you are there right now? 1, 2... Of course, in places where they can't get out of, too. Let's see... Do we have any more? I need to see if I can find a texture replacer to put, you know, security guard outfits on those guys. Okay, it looks like just the 2 iron golems in the villager right now. I know, buddy, I know. You're all tied up. You don't want to be. We'll take you for a flight somewhere else soon. So, I'm going to get a little bit more cleanup done. I'm going to get a little bit of prep done. And I'm going to grab all of my pathing materials. And I will see you guys back here when we're ready to get these paths carved in and placed. So, I'll see you again in just a minute. Alright, we've got all of these guys silenced now, so we can do our pathing in peace. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to rough in the path as it's going to kind of cut across and around here. Figure out holes like that as we go. Basically, same thing that we did everywhere else. So it's got to be about 5 blocks wide, ideally. Doesn't really matter what this bottom layer is made out of right now. I'm just doing this because it's what I've got on me. Because it's going to get covered by our path blocks in a minute anyways. Not too terribly worried about losing a little bit of grass down there. I have so many grass blocks in storage, it's not even funny. But we want to keep this relatively 5 blocks wide, with the exception of when it's making contact with the buildings, because at that point it's going to kind of widen a little bit. But once we get back to over here, we're going to try and have it be a centered 5 block with a path on either side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fill in a little bit more of this here. And then I've grabbed a stack of each of our pathing blocks. We'll grab some more in a couple minutes when we're ready to do a little bit more pathing work. But honestly, a stack of each may be enough. We're not doing a ton. And the blocks do go pretty far in their use. Okay, we'll do this. It's always helpful not having big holes underneath the area you want to put a path, but, you know, that's fine. There we go. Okay, that'll get us to there, and then that's 4 wide. We want to get a 5th. And we're going to cut to the inside there, so it's going to get a little bit narrower here. 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And then we'll cut straight through here. This is basically all I did last time with all the other paths too, is go through, cut it all out, and then basically I'll take each of these blocks in some random order and try to go from, you know, most populous to least populous. So you'll notice that through most of the roads, the packed mud is what we have the most of, and then everything else is kind of detailed. So we'll just end up going through and kind of roughing in some path block or some packed mud shapes here with no particular rhyme or reason, just really getting some space filled. Not like that. Ah, that's right, it's a pick block. Anyways, so we'll start going through like that once we have the entire thing in through this full area. In any areas where it's possible to, we'll try to put in our stone brick slabs along the side as a curb, so like through this little section here, which we can kind of follow along on the diagonal there a little bit. Or even maybe do like that. Nah, prefer it like that. So, we'll kind of rough in where the path is going to run, then we'll add in our details afterwards. We also need to, let's see, may as well just run directly next to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll start cutting across to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And then probably chunk one more back there. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're not aiming for a exact form. We're just kind of getting stuff shaped in. And then over here, it's going to start getting much thinner as we get into this kind of tighter neighborhood cluster here. Yeah, I'm fine with that being chunked out as a path block. And this whole area I'm going to turn into a little courtyard type thing. So, we'll get it relit as well once we have everything in here. That's just a matter of time more than anything else. And chunk that one out. I think that's pretty good for getting the path layout done. Let's go ahead and sleep through the night real quick so we don't have to worry about any kind of monsters, because that would be mildly inconvenient. One thing that I did notice while I was doing the edits on the prior clips is that for some reason, the Photon version that has Voxy support causes some errors in flashback, where the entire world basically likes to vanish and reappear, which you probably saw in the last episode, and I've been trying to figure it out. So, coming down to that, it looks so good now that all the houses are in. Hold on, we're going to take a step back. I haven't really stepped back to just look at this yet. Oh. Yep. And with all of the houses in, it just feels more full and complete. And I bet if we come over here, it's going to look really nice too. Hold on. Yeah, because you can kind of see the village do a wraparound of the kind of larger structures here. Oh, I love it. Okay. This is definitely paying off, and I'm really glad that we've stuck it out so far. So, next step is to start chunking in all of our pathing blocks like we were doing before. And I've got a bunch more of these in the... I've swapped out for a different set of shulker boxes, so that's pretty much all dirt and grass. This is coarse dirt, cobblestone, gravel, mud. Yeah, just kind of the various things that I may need along our pathing journey here. Some of them a little bit redundant, but, you know, I was kind of grabbing in bulk when I went through there. So, we're just going to kind of randomly run through this. We are going to need more of our pathing blocks. I'm definitely going to need more packed mud. Hold on. There's some more. There's more too. Perfect. And we don't want it to be too consistent. We need a little bit of kind of chaos to it. There should be spots where the packed mud's a little bit thinner, spots where it's more plentiful, but it is kind of our primary block through the paths. Whereas our more gray tone blocks, our cobblestone and our gravel, are really significantly less common. And that's predominantly just to keep kind of color tones consistent. I think that they work for a little bit of a pop, but we don't want them to be overpopulated. I actually might have been okay with just 2 stacks to get through this, but it's fine. And if we have a little courtyard out here, I'll want to do something with it. I just don't know exactly what yet. Perfect. Alright, and then we'll start... You know what? I can do this from this side back, actually. Oh. Yeah, let's eat, too, while I'm thinking about it. Mud bricks is usually the thing that I do last and just fill in the remaining spaces. Though, again, this is not an exact science. It's really just a kind of drop stuff in as you go sort of experience. But already it's, you know, less populous with the coarse dirt than with the packed mud, which has much larger clusters and clumps. I tend to keep the coarse dirt to 2 to 3, sometimes just a singular by itself, but the coarse dirt the packed mud you rarely see less than 3 together. Oh, you know what? I didn't continue it off this way. Hold on. There we go. Perfect. And continue our path of very little rhyme or reason. Go grab some more coarse dirt and continue it on coming back the other way. Okay, dirt. It's all regular dirt. There's a little more coarse dirt. I know I've got more in here. There it is. And we'll pop that away. Perfect. Okay. And yeah, this is pretty much all I did on the pathing before as well, is just, you know, figure out clusters, clumps, and just kind of run through like a crazy person. But I think it gives a nice pathing effect through the entire area without being too much. Because you can often run that way, you know, you can overdo it and then it can look either too manufactured or just way too overdone. Alright, next we are going to get some gravel in. Again, less frequent. But filling in some kind of corners, especially spots like this where it's like right at the edge. And I'll come through later and I'll punch out, you know, a couple of side blocks off and I'll put in coarse dirt and gravel just a little bit off path. But not something we're doing right this moment. Okay. And gradually this will start to kind of take form for us as we cut through. There, that. Let's go this way. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna go need to grab another stack of gravel here in a second. Yeah, just not quite enough. Okay. I can also drop off a little bit of the stuff that I'm already done with. Oop. Going too far. Grab another stack of gravel. I'm done with this coarse dirt and packed mud. I may grab some to do, a couple final detail runs, kind of change up some patterns if things feel a little bit too consistent, but there we go. And then start to plop in some small quantities of cobblestone throughout. And this one I really keep to 1 or 2 per spot for the most part, unless it otherwise makes sense for some reason. So usually the cobblestone goes quite a bit further in the pathing process. Okay, and then do that one there, I think. And you already kind of start to see where the packed mud brick is going to fill in the rest of the way here. Go do those 2. There we go. And then the packed mud brick for every remaining space. Which gives us some fun, weird shapes out of our pathing blobs here. And, there's probably better ways to do this. There's probably, more organic pathing options, but this is what I've found works for this village, at least, and for kind of the style I'm going for here. Definitely gonna need to grab some more mud bricks. Because it ends up being about as frequent through as the initial packed mud, but it really is just the filling block between everything else. You can see kind of those semi-random blobs even through all here. Let's see. Good bit more of this. We'll finish off our pathing, and then we'll start getting the curbs in, probably after I sleep the night away. And then we've got to do the path up there to the tunnel as well. Which, the tunnel's something that I would like to revisit a little more often. I haven't really done anything out the other side of it, so it doesn't get looked at much. And then you'll end up with little sections like this, where there's none of the mud bricks, and it doesn't really look out of place, but taken as a whole, it's a good thing to not have everything everywhere. It kind of plays into that variance. So let's sleep the night away, and then we'll knock in our stone brick curbs where they matter. And then we'll see if there's anywhere in here that needs to have path or the street lights along. But for the most part, having the lights on those roofs really does replace that within the village. Ooh, already though, the kind of aerial view. In fact, let's get a good aerial view real quick, because we're going to see it this way a lot when we come in from other projects. Oh yeah. Let's take a quick turn around here. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. And now with the path running all the way through, it's a lot more complete. Okay. Phenomenal. Let's drop off our extra pathing materials. All of this grass I picked up from digging that out. And then we'll start our curbs. Okay. This one, I'm actually going to leave open, just because it's kind of the side path into two buildings, and with all of the side paths into a building, I tend to leave them uncurbed when there's space to do so. Because this is directly between two buildings into kind of a dead end, this one made sense to have a curb on. But, yeah, getting out to here, I might put a street lamp into this corner. Here, I think we're going to leave this one open, but then we're going to curb around here. And probably have a street light along this curb as well. And here we start to get kind of between buildings, which is, I don't want to have that there. We'll leave those as they are. Just because if one's here, there's a chance that a baby zombie might be able to jump up and get in. We don't want that. We would like these guys to live as long as possible. And this is actually why I didn't run the path all the way over, so that I can do this on the grass predominantly instead of on the cliff side. Pop that one. There we go. And then off this side, we'll curb it up to there. And there. Beautiful. And again, it's just a little thing, but it does make it feel more finished. And then off this end, it's a little courtyard, and we'll just kind of do the same thing we did with the dead end on the other side, and just cut in those curbs. But now, let's see, do I actually need the street lights anywhere? I think not, to be honest. I think that everywhere gets enough light from these. There's a couple spots under a lamp here. Like this back corner where I'll probably hide some lighting under some moss carpets at some point. The goal would be to eventually get rid of all of these torches, not just here, but through the entire area. There is just a ton of torch spam that needs to be taken care of, but it's not an immediate problem. That's kind of a later problem once I'm able to set up a moss farm, and actually that's something I can do pretty quickly as well. But with that, we've got our pathing done, which is phenomenal, and with that I also think that our upper village can be called complete. Let's just take a look from here real quick. Yeah. Oh man, I love it. Because they're consistent in style, but varied enough in color palette and design. Yeah, I honestly kind of love this. And I think that it plays really well, it looks really good with the cliff face, it's... all in all, pretty much exactly what I had hoped it would be. I can't wait to get the rest of the cliff facing done, but that is gonna have to wait because we are about out of time for this episode. So guys, if you are enjoying the series, there's a playlist on the channel for all of the Minecraft videos if you've missed any up to this point. We've got playlists on the channel for all of the other series we've done. So our Monday videos, our Wednesday videos, which typically end up being investigative or cozy games, those all have playlists, and there will be plenty more coming out over time. And yeah, thanks so much for coming along on the adventure. If you like what you're seeing, you can subscribe to keep up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!